You can't be demanding. You can't be relentless. You can't put yourself first. So, put yourself first. You can't be confident, so be confident. You can't challenge, so challenge. You can't dominate, so dominate. You can't flex, so flex. You can't fill a stadium, so fill that stadium. You can't be emotional, so be emotional. You can't take credit. You can't speak up. You can't be so ambitious. You can't break records. You can't have any fun. You can't make demands. You can't keep score. You can't stand out. Whatever you do, you can't win. So win.
Let's go, dogs! I'm a dancing tongue and I like the taste of cold fall. Have you ever seen a tongue do this? Yeah, happy maker. Give me cold, give me cold. Everybody now. Give me cold, give me cold.
Yes, now I see it. I thought you were like the Stoics. But it really was a belief in your God.
Not just my God. Yours as well, everyone.
Sebastian, if it were anyone else, to me with the true heart of Rome, the everlasting empire.
Only everlasting if Rome chooses the way of love.
I haven't asked you to speak.
I speak in the name of the one true God. He delivers us from evil and temptation, and he lives in our souls.
Shoot him full of arrows so that I can see right through him.
Dominus, Dominus! You must let Christian belief flourish in Rome. You must let men find their way to salvation. To immortality! To immortality! To immortality! To immortality! I speak in the name of the one true God.
I miss my mother.
She's with you. She's with you now and always.
You believe you were sent by God?
Yes.
I feel like I'm betraying my homeland. Please, I would like to die in place of this man.
He will baptize you with fire.
For our nation of France, our God calls us to Orléans! This is what I was born for.
Aliens.
UFO detected.
Come on, man!
Dorito.
Yeah! We've made contact with a new alien species, and apparently they're foodies.
Oh, food is the worst.
Mr. Ramsey will need you to cook for them. You'll have access to everything the Area 51 test kitchen has to offer, including top secret alien cooking technology.
Wait, that's just a Hexlab pan. I've got these at home.
Unfortunately, it was leaked 8 years ago. The pan was developed using material from an alien spacecraft.
What?
Extremely durable but low friction, created to deal with a thick egg-like atmosphere.
You're saying the pan I used to fry my bacon is made out of flying saucers?
We don't have time for a science lesson, Mr. Ramsey. The alien ambassador is already here.
Whoa.
Not her. Him.
Hey, what's up, dude?
You're an alien?
All famous people are aliens.
I'm not.
I meant like really famous people.
Seriously?
Oh, yeah. Huh?
All right, Shalom. All praise to Yahweh by Hashem, Yahweh Shai. Double honor to the apostles and elders of GMS. All right, in this video, we're going to be going over some of the Super Bowl commercials. And I think I'm gonna call the video Super Bowl commercials. And I'm gonna give it a subtitle. I don't know what it is yet. All right, what did we see, or something like that? What was shown? What was revealed? That could be it. So anyway, I did a little collage. You know, I was taking notes while the Super Bowl was on, and I basically, anything that I saw that was significant, that I felt like was significant, I went back and found a commercial for it, and I included it in the collage of videos, which wound up being about 4 minutes and 44 seconds. A couple of things that were not pictured that I did see, I really couldn't pick too much out of it. I saw the theme of there was two commercials where older white people, I think one was William Dafoe and this lady, they was willing to play a tennis match with anybody that had ultralight beer or something like that. And there was another one where they was in a restaurant eating. It was an older man and an older white woman. An older white man, an older white woman. They just basically was outsmarting everybody. I picked up on that theme. Also, I picked up on the theme of feminism. That's why I put this commercial in the beginning. This feminism theme. You know, they had these women, you know, some famous, Sha'Carri Richardson, Caitlin Clark. The other ones, I can't remember their names, but they were showing Sha'Carri the most and Caitlin Clark a lot. You know, with the whole masculine vibe of you can't win. They basically were saying, you know, no matter what you do, you can't do nothing right. If you're a woman, you're not supposed to be like this. You're supposed to be like this. You know, just do what you want to do, basically. I picked up on that. And maybe you can get something else from it, you brothers and sisters out there. I also saw this Coffee Mate commercial. This one was just some weird shit. It was kind of freaky. You know, they basically showed this guy's pupils did something right there, and then his tongue went crazy and started doing it. I mean, I thought it was kind of perverse, kind of nasty, you know. That's really all I got from that. Maybe somebody else picked up something different. You can say on the comment board what you saw from different commercials. Then, of course, you had the Doritos. They went into the whole UFO stuff, right? It was heavy on the UFO alien stuff. Like this guy with the Doritos, you know, the alien wanted the Doritos, and they was trying to, the tractor beam came in the window to get the Doritos, and then he was holding on to it. And then, you know, after that, I think the tractor beam wound up pulling the Doritos, and then it destroyed the whole ship. Yeah, you see it there, the UFO split in half. Then you see the alien. So they're reinforcing in your mind that aliens are the ones in the UFOs. I saw that. Then you had Area 51, right? I believe. Salakia. Then you had the, let's go to it. It's a little older. Now, those of you that don't know, Area 51 is a real place. It exists. I think it's out there in New Mexico, Roswell, New Mexico. And it's a base where they literally, supposedly have, you know, wreckage from UFOs and all that, which is bullshit. No chariot ever wrecked, but, you know, they got it. It's showing you out there. It's in the desert, Area 51. It was humorous, but at the same time, it showed, you know, some truth. You see here, they got the manly black woman commander of the Space Force, right? And then, of course, Chef Ramsay, the beloved chef, Chef Ramsay. And basically, the whole thing was, you know, based around alien technology. He was talking about that's just a good pan, and then this commander from the Space Force shows him that it's actually technology from a UFO, or from metal. They made those pans out of metal from a UFO, which is more foolishness. Okay, which is more foolishness. Anyway, and I think that'll be the thumbnail. And you know, they go on to talk about it, and then Chef Ramsay, Pete Davidson comes out, and Chef Ramsay says, or he says to Chef Ramsay about aliens like he doesn't understand, and then Pete Davidson said all famous people are aliens, right? So they're messing with your brain. They want you to run with the whole clone theory and the whole, you know, and then Pete Davidson goofy ass, you know, he's saying all famous people are aliens, and then Chef Ramsay says, I'm not an alien. And then Pete Davidson says, I mean, really famous people like that, right? Anyway, so it was highly advanced cookware. That was one. But to me, the most profound one was the one dealing with the saints. And really, the Spirit just had me kind of looking into these people, who they were. And I found out, so we're going to kind of go into that a little bit, because the whole thing with saints, at first I didn't really get it. I thought it was all Bible stuff, but it's not. It's not all Bible stuff. What it is, these different white people from all times, right? So first you had, they got this guy, Saint Sebastian, this guy, Maximilian Kolbe, Joan of Arc, and then they had John the Baptist. John the Baptist is the only real saint, but what they also did was reinforced unto you. They showed you John the Baptist looking like a white guy. Like a white guy with just knotty hair. See, Esau loved to do that shit. He loved to show you the Israelites, and then it kind of like, instead of showing them as white people like they used to do back in the past, they'll show them now like a little bit brown, and they have kinky hair or whatever, so you would think that the Israelites wasn't really the people that they really are. And of course they showed you in here too, this right here, this scene. And in this scene you see what? What do you see? You see Nazis, and you see people in a detention camp, or what was called death camps. Is what we've been told that they were called, right? But you should know the story around that. Okay. Anyway, they go, you know, you see it right there. You showed you John the Baptist baptizing people in the river, but everybody out there look like crackers. Let's go to it again. Yeah, you see him baptizing people. Look what the Israelites supposedly look like. See, they're just devils. So you can't be ignorant of that. And then I actually included another little short in it, so you can see who they were saying, you know, what Saint Sebastian supposedly had done. He was sentenced to death by Rome, right? That's why I put that in there. I just came across that. Which really, that movie Saints, or that thing with Saints, is not brand new. It's actually kind of old. Not kind of old, but it's already out, I believe. But you know, you don't read about Saint Sebastian in the Bible, you know, even though he was supposed to be talking about the Christian faith. So really what they're doing is they pushing a little bit of that Jewish shit on you, you know, the Holocaust stuff. And basically Esau just trying to reinforce himself as the people of the Bible, which he's really not, okay? And let's actually go real quick to a scripture before we do anything else. Let's go to a scripture. Let's get Job 9 and 24. And before we even read that, yeah, we can actually read it. It says, the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. He covereth the faces of the judges thereof. If not, where and who is he? And we know that John the Baptist was a dark-skinned man, right? And he was a Nazarite, okay? Which means the razor never passed upon his head. But he was beheaded, but he was the only one that was a true saint of all those people that they showed. Now again, the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. The people that rule the earth is the wicked. He covered the faces of the judges thereof. If not, where and who is he? So he's got the power to do this, to do these lying wonders. So you see this stuff, and people literally believe it. You believe this is exactly how it was. And Esau is diligent with going back, you know, doing period pieces is what the apostles taught us about. Period pieces, and making it look just like, you know, you was back there. You know, it's almost as if you think that these are the real people, but it's really just a movie. They're just actors. But this guy, Saint Sebastian, is supposed to have been put to death for the Christian faith. But what I did a little bit of research on him, because I was a little rusty on some of it. Now, I knew who Joan of Arc was, right? Joan of Arc was French. She was, you know, from France and whatnot. And just real quick here, it says Joan of Arc is a patron saint of France, honored as a defender of the French nation, and her role in the siege of Orleans or Orleans, and her insistence on the coronation of Charles VII of France during the 100 Years' War. Claiming to be acting under divine guidance, she became a military leader who transcended gender roles, see, and gained recognition as a savior of France. Now, you don't hear about Joan of Arc mentioned nowhere in the scriptures, right? Now, something down here I wanted to read. Just bear with me here. I know she wound up getting burned at the stake. She was accused of heresy. Right down here, it says she was captured by Burgundian troops on May 23rd. After trying unsuccessfully to escape, she was handed to the English in November. She was put on trial by Bishop Pierre Cauchon on the accusations of heresy, which included blasphemy. Which included blaspheming by wearing men's clothes and acting upon visions that were demonic, and refusing to submit her words and deeds to the judgment of the church. She was declared guilty and burned at the stake on May 30th 1431, aged about 19. You know, I've actually seen that movie. I think that chick, Mila Jovovich, played in the movie of Joan of Arc, and she wound up getting burned at the stake, which is a terrible death. But in all actuality, I don't think she was an Israelite, okay? I think she was just a damn, a heathen, a Edomite. Now, this guy, Maximilian Kolbe, which he was Polish. But like I said, they showed him in the death camp. So it's got something to do with the whole, the whole Jewish stuff. He was probably a Polish Khazar and whatnot, more than likely. But anyway, it goes on. Saint Maximilian Kolbe is the patron saint of many groups, including drug addicts. Kolbe was executed by lethal injection, or Kolbe, however you say his name. I might be saying it wrong, but you get what you get. Kolbe was executed by lethal injection, making him a patron saint of those struggling with life-threatening addictions, which is bullshit. Prisoners, Kolbe's selfless act of taking the place of a condemned man makes him a patron saint of prisoners, especially political prisoners. Families, Kolbe's life and teachings demonstrate the importance of family and support of a loving community. Pro-life movement, Kolbe's life and teachings demonstrate the importance of life and the value of the pro-life movement. Journalists, Kolbe is a patron saint of journalists. See, all this is some Catholic shit, man. Amateur radio operators, whatever. People with eating disorders. Kolbe is a patron saint of people with eating disorders. Kolbe is also known as an apostle of consecration to Mary because of his efforts to promote consecration and entrusted to Mary, which is all bullshit. Feast day. They made a holiday to this guy. Kolbe's feast day is August 14th, the day of his martyrdom, which this is all some Edomite shit, man. See here? Saint Maximilian Kolbe was beatified in 1971 by Pope Paul VI and was canonized in 1982 by Pope John Paul II. He is the patron saint of drug addicts, people with eating disorders, families, journalists, amateur radio operators, prisoners, and the pro-life movement. Okay, yeah. Complete bullshit, man. Complete bullshit. But anyway, the dude was Polish, if I'm not mistaken. Let's go here. Maximilian. Maximilian I always thought was a German name. It says Maximilian Maria Kolbe, Raymond Kolbe, Polish, was a Polish Catholic priest and conventional Franciscan friar who volunteered to die in place of a man named Franciszek Gajawanizek, I don't know, in the German death camp of Auschwitz. Okay, so that showed you located in German-occupied Poland during World War II. See, he had been active in promoting the veneration of the Immaculate Virgin Mary. Blah, blah, blah. So there you go. So this dude was put to death in place of somebody else, which when Esau says saints, he means something different. And then finally, Saint Sebastian. Saint Sebastian is the patron saint of athletes, archers, and a holy death. He is also the patron saint of the dying soldiers and the pontifical Swiss guards. Good Lord, man. And it's just, some bullshit that Esau come up with. This dude got his own card and whatnot. Like, here he is here. Saint Sebastian, a damn Edomite with a cross and arrows. Saint Sebastian is the patron saint of archers because he was shot with arrows while tied to a tree. Okay, yeah. I ain't gonna read all of that, but you get the idea. In Catholicism, Sebastian is the patron saint of archers, pen makers, athletes, and modern association, and of a holy death. So you see, oh, hold up. Who is the patron? Well, look at this. Who is the patron saint of the lig bitch? We look at how Saint Sebastian came to be known as a gay icon from as far back as the late 19th century. On the 20th January 287 AD, Saint Sebastian was killed by the Roman Emperor Diocletian for his Christian beliefs. On that day, every year, people come together to celebrate the feast of the Christian martyr. BS. Complete bullshit. All right? Because the real saints are Israelites. And let's just go there right now. And really, all that is an attempt. And see, then they use John the Baptist, the name of John the Baptist. They got, supposed to have been about 4 extraordinary people. See, it says here, 4 extraordinary humans on a higher purpose. So then they gave you some characters that were secular or really got to do with their Roman Catholicism beliefs mixed with John the Baptist, the name of John the Baptist, who was an Israelite. And he was really the only one out of all of them that was a true saint. Let's explain. This is Psalms 50 verse 5. Gather my saints together unto me, those that have made a covenant with me by sacrifice. See that? Who made a covenant with the Lord by sacrifice? The Israelites, the only ones. Hear, O my people, and I will speak, O Israel, and I will testify against thee. I am the Most High, even thy God. So, and let's also go to Psalms 148. I believe it is. These are the saints of the Lord, the Israelites. Psalms 148 and 14. He also exalted the horn of his people, the praise of all his saints, even of the children of Israel, a people near unto him. Praise ye the Lord, Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. So the only saints in the world are Israelites. John the Baptist is a saint, but Joan of Arc is not a saint. This guy Sebastian, he was not a saint. And this other guy, Maximilian Kolbe, was not a saint. Now at the end of the day, could some of all of them have been Israelites? Maybe. They could have been, but I doubt that they were. Okay? So that's who the saints are. The saints are only Israelites. Okay? And it's all in the scriptures. Let's go to 1 Peter. I believe it is. Let me see if it's there. I could actually do a word search. And you know, this is a quick video now. I didn't go into the UFO stuff all that much because that's obvious what Esau is doing. But he also attempted to blend in white faces, right, in the name of John the Baptist, and showed him as a white guy to further what's the word I'm looking for? To further reinforce the fact that the Israelites are white people and that the people over in the Holy Land are also the real Israelites, and they're not. Prophetically, they're not, and we know that they're not, okay? So yeah, when you know, but we gave you the definition of the word saints already. It's in the Bible a whole lot of times, but it's clearly defined already in Psalms 148 and 14. I'll read you this one. Ephesians 1 and 1. Paul, an apostle of Yahweh Shai HaMashiach, by the will of the Most High, to the saints which are at Ephesus, and to the faithful in Hamashiach Yahweh Shai. See, so when you hear people talk about saints, it's only talking about Israelites. That's all. Yeah. NLT, this letter is from Paul, chosen by the will of the Most High, to be an apostle of Yahweh Shai HaMashiach. I am writing to the Most High's holy people in Ephesus. Who are the Most High's holy people? Deuteronomy 7 and 6. Only the holy people are saints. Deuteronomy 7 and 6, for thou art an holy people unto the Lord thy power. The Lord thy God had chosen thee to be a special people unto himself above all people that are upon the face of the earth. That's all Israelites. So somebody can be a saint by name, you can call them that, but that doesn't make them a saint. What makes them a saint is they're Israelites. Those that are chosen or called to be saints, that's an elect Israelite. Deuteronomy 14 and 2, for thou art an holy people unto the Lord thy power, and the Lord Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai had chosen thee to be a peculiar people unto himself above all the nations that are upon the face of the earth. All right. And I ain't got a lot of time, you know, to talk about it anymore. Lord willing, you got something out of that. But, you know, like we said, the main theme, or what I saw twice was, you know, UFOs and aliens being mentioned. So, you know, that's big too. All right. That's a big thing that they mentioned in the commercials or whatever. But overall, the commercials actually kind of sucked. But it did get a little something out of it with this whole saints madness. This is 2 Corinthians 2 and 11. It says, lest Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices. And this Satan right here in the flesh is the spiritual demon. Is the devil in the flesh, Esau Edom, the so-called white man, with all his lying wonders, because he showed you his lying wonders, you know, try to lock you into him. And that whole thing with the saints, that shit was slick, man. You know, they'll show you movies and you believe this shit. They pushing that Christianity shit, trying to merge it with them damn Amalekites, okay? Because, you know, John the Baptist, of course he was an Israelite, but then they showing you all these Roman Catholics, and then this Roman Catholic shit, and then showing you these people that they sainted, so-called, and then this guy hollering out about, you must let them find their way to salvation. Salvation ain't for the whole world. It damn sure ain't for no damn Romans, the damn Edomites, you see? So he's saying this guy died for, you know, for that faith or whatever. Yeah, he died for his fake ass Christianity, just like Joan of Arc, you know, just like Joan of Arc. That's all. They died for Christianity. Christianity is not in the Bible. Your religion of Christianity. The Bible is for the Israelites, and the saints are only Israelites. But you can see it all, the reinforcement of everything they're doing. Barakatha Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, which I said, bless you, Most High, in the name of Yahweh Shai. All right. Anyway, I said, bless you, Yahweh, in the name of Yahweh Shai. See, they got John. See how they had him looking? And the guy supposed to be John the Baptist. At the end of the day, he looked like a homeless Edomite. See, that's all. Just, you know, hey man, Esau's the devil. All right. Anyway, that's it, brothers. We'll see you again soon with another lesson, Lord willing. All praise to Yahweh, by Hashem Yahweh Shai. Shalom.